All right, all ready when you guys are.
What have you learned about the process of this here at camp through your time as being an OC, and even maybe going before that? You get to this point. There's certain benchmarks you might want to hit. How do you approach the process, and how's it changed over the years?
Yeah, it's you try to keep your process. You try not to let it change. Look, I love coming away to camp just because the guys are all together, right? We're going through all the tough times, getting all the calluses, out the way. Injuries happen, all that. It just gives you an opportunity to, you get in games and in season, you have to adjust with everything. And so sometimes in training camp, we're going through it right now with some injuries of us having to adjust just like we are in game. And so it kind of gets your process going with some things that sometimes might not show up as early as you kind of hope that they do. But no, I'm enjoying it right now. We got a great group of guys that makes my life a lot easier going through it. But I try not to let my process kind of change year to year, week to week.
Hey Joe, can you give us a little update on what you've seen out of Jackson Hawes? I mean, obviously with the tight ends out, he's getting a chance, but what have you seen early on here in him?
Yeah, I love it. Look, Jackson. Jackson's the type of guy that you want when the pads come on, right? And I don't know if you guys talk with him, you might get absolutely no words out of him, or you might not get him to stop talking, right? He's brilliant. He obviously, he's an Ivy League guy, but you put the pads on, he's as nasty as they come. And the biggest thing with him is it's not too big for him. He understands it all, and now once the pads come on, can I play under control and play with detail and execution and technique, and still play with my physicality. But I've enjoyed working with him. I enjoy his approach, his mindset, and I've loved everything I've seen so far.
On the flip side, Zack Davidson, we know what he can do catching the football with the pads on, the physicality and blocking. Where have you seen his game evolve, and where is that point?
Yeah, you can see how important it is to him, right? We see how much of a freak athlete it is, but he understands to play in the NFL on the tight end, right? It's run game and pass game, and look, there's silver linings to everything. I never want anybody to ever be injured. But just like Jackson Hall, Zack Davidson, with some of the injuries to the tight end position, it's given them a lot more opportunity, and both in the running game and in the pass. And it's as important. Football is as important as it comes to Zack Davidson, and seeing his growth in the run game since we've been here has been a lot of fun. And look, he's still working through the technique. For any of the guys, it's one thing when there's no pads on the work technique, and now when the pads, just the coaching. But he's very intentional about it, and it's important to him. Is that going down? Did you guys hear anything? It's good. It probably wasn't. I probably didn't say anything. Yeah.
Cleo was up here a couple of days ago, really crediting you for giving him an opportunity when you took over as OC. What clicked, or what was the thing that clicked between you and him as you took over, as you were watching this team, go through its, whatever?
Yeah. Having Josh Allen as his quarterback naturally makes it. Look, the amount of love I have for Khalil Shakir as a person, but also as a player, he makes my life so much easier. He's as selfless as it comes, right? And so it's so easy to coach guys if we win the football game, it doesn't matter if he had any catches, and he'd rather that than have 15 catches and we lose. Like yesterday, he came out to practice. He knew it was going to be a run day, and he was like, hey, I set my pads. I'm ready to rock. It's a guy coming off a contract. We're down some wide receivers right now, and he's just like, whatever I got to do. I got to go block and dig a guy out. I'll go do it. And, I saw his approach when he came in here as a wide receiver, and it's like he's a great example of a guy, don't look at numbers, don't count. You just find ways to develop and continue to get better. He got here and early in that year he was inactive. His first year, his rookie year, and then injuries happen. He comes out, has an opportunity against Baltimore, and then he just continues working, and his approach doesn't change. And I think some of it was just given the opportunity. We had some injuries, when I kind of took over, but Khalil Shakir is going to continue to get better, and we're a huge part. A lot of our success is because of him.
He seems to be the unlikeliest number one receiver if you want to count him as the number one, but he seems, because of that selflessness, the lack of flash. I mean, even the car he drives. I mean, there just doesn't seem to be that receiver diva quality. He doesn't get into the trappings of the NFL.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things is what is a number one wide receiver? Is it style of defense? Is it production? Is it how they're being utilized? There's not a lot of quote unquote true, undoubtedly number one wide receivers, right, in the NFL. Maybe even a handful. So just because a guy might be not your number one on one team, he might be your number one on one team. He might be somebody else. But I think Khalil just embodies it doesn't matter what I have to do, I'm going to do it. You see, I think it was day 2. He's running an absolute clear out route as fast as he can, open it up for Elijah Moore I think it was Curtis Samuel coming across, and he came back to the huddle, loving life, all is well. We call that a Joe Brady route. Like, you're not getting the rock, and you're just running for the love of the game. And so, but he doesn't blink. I got to do it. There's a game against Denver where we got a terrible look, and he had to go dig out a linebacker, and cool, he didn't blink, and he went do it. So, again, I can talk hours on Khalil Shakir, and I'm so excited to just continue to work with him.
James was pretty emphatic with us that I'm going to play on third down more when he was up here. He seemed like, hey, this is a part of his game he really wants to take pride in. You also have other backs that are good on third down. What goes into that process of understanding where guys fit and what their roles are on third down?
Yeah, look, I think right now it's unique. It's a unique process because we have such a talented running back room with similar skill sets, but also guys that can both play in the run game and the pass game. And that's what's been so cool is we don't have a room that, hey, this guy can only run these runs, this guy can only do protection, this guy can only run routes. And so it allows us to be able to, kind of do different things with them. Some of the a guy like James Cook not playing on third down last year doesn't have anything to do with his ability in the pass game or him not being able to handle the protection. Some of that is, well, we have these guys up. Ty did a great job on it. Hey, why take a couple more blows in a protection on James Cook, and when Ty can kind of handle it. And so, but it kind of speaks to who James Cook is. Look, I know like with the contract situation, sometimes it can get a bad rap. James Cook is as good as a teammate as it gets, right? And he wants to be on third down. He wants to be, running the ball inside in the red zone. He wants to do whatever he's got to do. And we've just been fortunate with the type of guys we have in that room that we can play them all on third down. We can play them all on first down. And so some of that is just making sure the defense doesn't know exactly what's coming.
Along with that, do you feel any pressure as a play caller and someone who has to put guys out there in certain situations when there is stuff, auxiliary stuff like contracts and all of that, and like with talent and stuff?
No, look, I think we just try to preach here, like, we're trying to do whatever we got to do to win that football game. And as long as our guys can embody that, that's the most important thing. And when you start thinking about a potential contract, or you start thinking that I have to do this, I have to do that, you start pressing, you start probably not playing the way, you're capable of playing. And so, look, we'll see as things go. I've been with guys in contract situations, but a guy like James, like, I think you guys see him out here, right? We'll throw a ball 40 yards downfield, and he's the first one running to go make a block down there. So I don't worry about him as long as he just continues to be James Cook. We're going to continue to evolve this offense that it needs to get to, and I don't need him to do anything differently.
Joe, we talked to Connor McGovern a couple days ago, and he was talking about how Josh Allen has given him more responsibilities. How have you seen the offensive line take on more responsibilities because that group is so cohesive?
Yeah, I think you want to challenge the guys as much as possible. Anytime we can take a little bit off of Josh's plate, it makes his job a little easier. Like today, we're going out there. It's going to be 30 straight snaps of 3rd and 7+, right? And then 2-minute. Like, that's as stressful as it gets for a quarterback, right? But that's also why they get paid, to be able to play in the pocket, make those decisions. But as much as we can teach the offensive line, the centers, if they can see it from a quarterback's perspective, they can at least get it started for Josh and not make Josh have to do it all. And so that's part of the things right now we're challenging, and we have the guys that can do it. And then Josh just kind of confirms it and goes. We're asking him to do a lot, and we put a lot of stress on them, and we have the centers that can handle it, and just the great communication. And look, we're going to have some mess-ups today, right? It's the reality of it. I want that stuff to happen and kind of work through it, but you can see how it is important to them, and I hope the communication's at a high level.
What do you make out of what you've seen from Keon so far this camp?
Just continuing to work on the things we're asking them to work on. Not getting caught up on, hey, did I catch a pass? Did I drop a pass? Hey, am I working the technique? Was I where I needed to be? How should I run this release versus this guy? Like, he's so intentional about everything that he does. I think sometimes you get the rap on Keon, like he's an incredible personality, but football is so important to him, and he wants to be perfect in everything that he does. And so I've loved what I've seen. You can see the levels of physicality with it. But as always, right, you just, hey, what does it look like from a day-to-day? Can I not necessarily stack days, but can I just, hey, whatever happened yesterday, can I take advantage of it today? And today's obviously a big down for wide receivers and have an opportunity to go make a play. So excited for it.
How would you describe Reggie Williams' approach to practice, and how important is a guy like him when the pads come on?
Reggie is, look, Bean has done an incredible job putting the roster together because we have so many guys that are a big reason for who we are. Reggie, he doesn't get a lot of love for what he does, right? He's a guy that opens it up for so many people, and we continue to evolve his game as the game went last year. But there's not many teams that have a fullback, be a fullback that can do what we do with him, and then go down on special teams, run down and do all of those things. And he's such a special person. He's so unique with his skill set. I mean, we're down tight ends. He's running, deep crosses. There's not a lot of fullbacks in the league. I'm not saying we're going into the game and targeting him as the primary with the one, but he's selfless. He's like, if I got to go do it, I'm going to go do it. And when the pads come on, that's obviously when fullbacks, are loving life a little bit. But he can do so many different roles for us. He's so important.
What does Khalil Shakir bring to the tight ends room?
I love Lecky. He's again, you get two tight ends that not a lot of tight ends in college football are doing a lot of the dirty, in the run game and working technique. And so it's been really cool that we have two rookies that some of that is obviously clean up their technique in the run game, but evolving their pass game, from that. And Lecky has just been waiting for pads to come on. I want pads to come on. I want pads to come on, right? He knows he's not a 7-on-7 tight end where, hey, just put me in a 1-on-1. But when the pads come on, that's when, he has an opportunity to show it. Great character, great personality, and, you're able to see some of the skill set that he had yesterday for sure.
This is your first training camp with Mike White. Obviously, you came in during the season last year. What stood out about him, and anything now that you've got kind of a full season under your belt working with him? Any takeaways from him?
Yeah, I think I might have said it last year when we signed Mike. When growing up playing baseball, Mike was just right below me, and so I've known Mike. We're from the same hometown, basically his whole life. So I've always followed him, always been a fan of his game. He's obviously played, in this league, in this division. He was such a big part of our success last year in the QB room. Everybody always sees Josh's success, but there's so much more that comes with it throughout the week. And having Mitch, Mike, and Shane in that room has helped his game. It's been really cool. This is really Mike's first time going through the installation of it. It's really hard to come in right before a season and try to just learn the offense, basically learn just the game plan as it goes. I mean, he's running plays against the New England game that he's never repped in practice. It's like, hey, just go out there and play football, right? So, but it's been really cool to see his kind of approach, how he kind of sees things, because every quarterback sees it a little differently. And look, it's tough with some of the injuries or some of the reps we can't, but just maximizing all his reps. Obviously excited to continue working with Mike.
Joe, what have you learned about working with Josh Palmer on a day-to-day basis now for a little while?
He's so intentional about it. He's as intellectual as it gets. He wants to know the why behind everything. Sometimes I have to just tell him, man, hey, stop thinking, let's go. But you can see after practice, a route with Josh, he wants to know the why. He wants to know, hey, how did that feel? What did that look like? It's been a lot of fun with it, because some wide receivers are just hey, I'm going to run that line on paper, but he wants to know, hey, did I fool with the quarterback? What my body language? How he runs a route is going to be completely different than Keon, and so it's so important for Josh after practice. Hey, if I run this route and I got this DB, this is what that route's going to look like. But if it's Keon, so us just sorting through it, the communication. So excited that we got him and continuing to work with him.
To have a guy like that. I mean, John was asking about how receivers stereotypically are divas, guys who kind of do their own thing. It sounds like Josh is almost the other way, where he's so intellectual, you almost got to free him up a little bit. How different is it to coach a guy like that?
Yeah, I think receivers just in general get a bad rap. Since I've been here, we have not had a guy that wasn't a smart wide receiver. We didn't have divas. I know sometimes people can get the raps. They're not divas. It is hard to play in the NFL, and to be a receiver in the NFL and have production. You can't do that without understanding the game and technique and being an extremely smart wide receiver. Josh is just unique in a sense of wanting the communication at an all time and asking Josh with it, and so it takes time. We had a lot of new wide receivers last year. We got new guys this year. People think you can just roll the ball out and just throw and catch. I wish it was that easy. Unfortunately, we have a quarterback that oftentimes can make it look that easy, but there's so many intricacies that come with it, the body language, how they run the routes, what routes they run. And so as much as that we can talk about it out on the field, rep it, go into the meeting room, talk through it, and continue repping it, that's what's most important. I think the first day we did one-on-ones, him and Josh worked the exact same throw 3 straight times. 2 of them were incomplete, first 2 were incomplete, and I told him don't change the route. The route was perfect, you know, and so we can't get caught up in the results with it, and so that's what something, you know, we're just talking with him is don't get caught up on it was incomplete pass. Like, it's us sorting through it, and a lot of fun to work with.
Joe, with all the injuries and getting to see some, new faces, guys get more reps than expected, has anyone surprised you?
Well, it's I think it's really early. I don't like throwing just names out there. It's and especially the receiver position. It's guys getting opportunities that they might not necessarily have gotten, and it's how can they take advantage of those reps. There's guys that, hey, they might have only been getting 2 reps in practice, where now today they're going to be getting reps with Josh Allen. You know what I mean? And like, what does that stage look like for those guys? Is it too big for them? And I don't think we have those guys, but it's a great opportunity. I don't really blink when we have injuries, and I try to have our guys not blink. So it's just an opportunity for those guys. As long as we have 11 guys out there, we're going to be fine. Look, it's as tough as it gets right now for wideouts. We're down. It's the reality of it. But for some of the guys that if I told them before camp, hey, you're going to have to get twice as many reps as you normally would they be okay with it? They'd be like, heck yeah. And so I'm excited to see some of these guys kind of roll today. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.